In this video, I'm going to discuss using addition and subtraction to solve equations, and I'm going to discuss how you can check your candidate solutions to see if they are correct. All right, so we already solved a few simple equations, but once they get a little bit more complicated, it's not so easy to do them in your head. Okay, so for example, suppose I gave you 2x minus 4x plus 10 equals 8x plus 2. All right, now I don't think that I could in my head say, okay, if I double a number, if I subtract what I get, if I quadruple it and add 10, that's going to give me the same as if I multiplied it by 8. And, okay, that's a bit much. Okay, so let's learn some tricks to not have to be a hero and solve it in our head that way. Okay, what I want to do before I show you the trick is I want to bring something to your attention. Suppose I asked you if 5 was equal to 5. Okay, I have the simplest expression, a single number on both sides, right? So the expression that's just the number 5 is clearly the same as the expression equal to the number 5, right? Now watch this. What if I bumped up the value of both sides? So that would be 5 plus 1 and then 5 plus 1. That would give me 6 on both sides. Is that still true? I hope you said yes. Okay, now let's keep playing this game of doing the same thing to both sides. Now I have a 6 equal to a 6. Suppose I doubled the expression on both sides. So I'd have 2 times 6 would be 12 on the left, and on the right 2 times 6. So that would also give me an expression that's equal. Now let's suppose I subtracted, or before I do that, let's chop. Let me divide both sides by 3. Okay, so on both sides I get 4. And then lastly, let me subtract 3 from both sides. So that would give me 1 on both sides. Okay, so the point I'm trying to make is, can you see that if I have two expressions that have the same value, that evaluate to the same value, okay, then I can do the same thing to both sides and they're still going to evaluate to the same value, right? This is similar to the idea, think about a seesaw. If you have two people of equal weight on a seesaw and it's balanced so that neither side is too high or too low, okay? Now suppose you have, let's suppose I put a bucket of paint on both sides that's the same weight, okay? It'll still be balanced. No side will go down and no side will go up. Now suppose I put a bag of sand on each side. Okay, it's still balanced. Now suppose I remove the bag of sand, maybe just half the sand, still balanced. Okay, so can you see that again? That's similar to the idea that if you could multiply, divide, add, subtract both sides, and it'll still be equal, or in the case of the seesaw, it'll still be balanced. Okay, think about that idea. That's going to help you understand the trick to solve complicated equations. All right, so here we go. So let's get back to the black one. So even though I don't know what x is, that's no reason that I can't still do tricks with it. So let me first combine. Let's first combine that. We know that we can combine like terms. So before I do my new trick, let's just do that. So minus 2x plus 10 equals 8x plus 2. Okay, so now here's the new idea. Now, the same way with the numbers, I'm going to add something to both sides. I'm going to bump both sides by 2x. I'm going to add 2x to both sides, in other words. Okay. I'm also going to subtract 2 from both sides. All right. Now, why would I want to do that? Okay. Well, bear with me. Let's simplify both sides now. So on the left side, both of these cancel. That just add to 0. On the right side, both of these cancel. They just 2 minus 2 is 0. So after we clean up the mess, okay, here we have a 10 minus 2. That's going to give an 8. And then on the right, we have an 8x and a 2x. That's going to give a 10x. Okay, look at how much simpler this isn't that a much simpler equation than what we started with? Okay, and then finally we if you multiply something by 10 it's equal to 8. Well, you can, the last thing we want to do is let's divide both sides by 10. So divide by 10, divide by 10 on the right side. If you multiply by 10 and divide by 10, that's the same as not doing anything. So 8/10 is equal to x, or x is equal to 8/10. Okay, that is the answer to this black equation. That's what you get when you solve it. Okay, so I added something, I subtracted something, and then I divided something, and that gave me to 8/10. Okay, if you were to replace the x in the black equation with 8/10, you would see that both sides would work out to the same value. In fact, I will do that right now. So on the left side in green, I would have 2 times 8/10 minus 4 times 8/10 plus 10. So that would give us, let's see, what would that give us? That would give us 16/10 minus 32/10 plus 10. That would give minus 16/10 plus 10, which would be minus 8/5 plus 10, which would be minus 8/5 plus 50/5, which is 42/5. All right, now let's do the other one, the right side. So on the right side, we've got 8 times 8/10 plus 2, and that's 64/10 plus 2, or 32/5 plus 2, or 32/5 plus 10/5, which gives 42/5. So lo and behold, we both sides evaluated to the same value. Okay, this is how you check your solution. I have no doubt that when you take our first exam, you're going to, if I asked you whether you'd want to get the answers correct, I think you'd all say yes. Okay, the way you can tell if you solved an equation correctly, go ahead and evaluate the original expressions on the right and left sides. If you get the same value, you're almost sure to have gotten the right answer on that test question. Okay, let's do one more example. So let's do let's see, 3 times x plus 1 equals 4 times x minus 2. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to, again, add, subtract, multiply, and divide stuff from both sides. Let's subtract 3x from both sides, and let's add 2 to both sides. Okay, so these guys kill each other, these guys kill each other. We've got a 3 here left over, and we have a single x left over on the other side. Okay, so the solution is 3. Now, if you're wondering, how did the teacher know what to add and subtract from both sides? Okay, here's the way I think of it. Here's the way you should think of it. We all love simple. Okay, if we all had a choice, we'd want every problem that we ever have to be simple, right? The way that you make equations simpler is you blow stuff up, you simplify, you get rid of them. Okay, the way that you get rid of stuff is by having stuff that adds, that evaluates to 0. So on the right side I had a -2, so the reason I added 2 is because I knew if I added 2, both of those would combine to 0. On the left side I had a 3x. I knew that if I subtracted 3x, then they would combine to 0. Okay, so you want to be doing whatever you can do so that you combine terms and end up with lots of zeros. We love zeros. Zeros, nice and simple. Okay, now let's end this video by checking if our answer is correct. So I'm going to plug the 3 into the purples on the left side. So 3 times 3 plus 1. That gives 9 plus 1 or 10. On the right side, 4 times 3 minus 2 gives 12 minus 2, which also gives 10. So we are happy. That's how you solve equations.